What's going on, guys? I want to get into how I got into coaching and personal development, an epiphany, a turning point in my life. This is actually really hard for me to talk about because it is actually the first time I'm going public with this story. My parents don't even know this story. I guess from all the shame and embarrassment that I had gone through, I didn't feel comfortable talking about it. Hopefully this gives you the courage to talk about something that maybe you've been hiding deep inside, and you can actually maybe get some help with it and get the right people in place that can help you and set up a support structure, so to speak. So this is the exclusive inside scoop, my story of how I got here. Here we go. So I was on the up and up, climbing my way to the top, 3 promotions in 3 years, everything was going well. I was making more money than most of my peers that would be at my level management in the hospitality industry. My staff loved me, the guest satisfaction scores that we were getting were through the roof. Everything was going well, I was running a department, and then it all came crashing down. I got fired, and like boom, just like that, I was gone, out of there. All because of one night of some stupid decisions that were made, and suddenly I was lost. I really didn't have anywhere to go or know what to do, and I was super ashamed, and suddenly my life went to shit. Instead of rebounding, I went into a depression. It was awful. I used coping mechanisms like getting wasted all day, every day, literally for 45 days straight. It was about, I looked back on it, it was about a month and a half straight. I was wasted every day. I don't even really know how I made it through. So I was beating the shit out of myself. I was stacking self-doubt, negative self-talk, telling myself I suck, telling myself I let my parents down, telling myself that I let my staff down. And it's just not the way to go about something like this, obviously, because I felt like I was alone and I was at a really low point in my life. And when you beat yourself down like that, obviously it's going to make things 10 times worse. So I was at the lowest of the low. And because of all of that self-doubt and negative self-talk, I couldn't even get a job. I was applying all over the place, and those are probably 2 of the biggest main reasons as to why I could not get a job anywhere, even though in reality I was fully capable of handling that position at another resort. I think a third reason that would add to that is because my heart wasn't really 100% there anymore. I'd gotten beat up for a few years, working long hours. The resort itself was actually trying to get its shit together, and I got beat up for a while. So I felt so much shame that I didn't even really talk to anybody about this. Like I said in the beginning, I didn't even really talk to my family about this. And when people tried to ask me about it, I fully ignored it for the most part. I blew it off and didn't really talk about it. I kept it all bottled up. On the outside, I ended up pretending that everything was okay, but it really wasn't, obviously. But to anyone that would have seen me or hung out with me, they probably would have thought that, oh yeah, he's doing all right, he doesn't care, he's good to go. But deep down inside, I really wasn't. So I tried applying for jobs, and I basically self-sabotaged myself. I applied half-assed because of all of the negative self-talk and the stacking with the negative self-belief. I don't know if I really believed in myself at that point in time. And at this point, I don't even know if my heart was in it anymore. So I'm about a month and a half in, and I'm still spiraling. My 30th birthday was coming up, and a wonderful grandmother helped me get a trip to go see my friends in Atlantic City. We were gonna meet up and go see one of our favorite DJs and have a great time. So I go out there, and we all get together, and we just party our asses off. I ended up having to go out early because there was a hurricane coming, but I ended up being there for I think about a week, and I was just partying my ass off the entire time. I was trying to forget about everything. I got out of the house where I was at, I got away from the job, I got away from the area, and this was completely me trying to be numb to the situation. And I guess I was using my birthday as an excuse. So my 30th was actually on a Saturday, and that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday after, I was a complete wreck. I could not move, I could not do anything, I couldn't think. I just remember laying there on the couch for days feeling completely and utterly sick. and my body was trying to tell me something. I truly believe that. Like, this is probably the most pain that I felt since my last breakup, to be honest. And suddenly something clicked. After those 3 days, I get onto the 4th day, and I remember I started feeling better, and I'm like, I can't do this shit anymore. Like, call it a midlife crisis, call it whatever you want, but suddenly my thought process changed and my thinking patterns, and I was like, this has got to stop. There's something better for me out there. I'm not going back to hospitality anymore. I decided that I wanted to do something that would help people in a different way, maybe on a bigger, more massive scale. And I didn't want anybody to feel the way that I had felt through those last few days that ended this binge that I went on. And so I had a breakthrough. And the next part is what I would say is the revival. So like I said, I finally stood up and said, this cannot go on. My career has always been dedicated to serving other people and making memories for other people, but I felt like I wanted to help in a different way. I felt like I could help on a bigger scale. And there's nothing wrong with the service industry and in serving people in that way, but I just wanted to make a difference in that I didn't want people to feel pain. I wanted people to be happy. I wanted people to be able to get into something that they actually cared about and made their life happier, and that they could make a difference in the world and help them find their purpose and passion in life. So I started reading again. I started journaling again. I started researching online. I came across some websites talking about coaching, and I was like, this could be my next move right here. So I started looking at different certification courses online, and I found one that actually worked for me, and I felt like it was one that I could trust. So as you can start to see, the positive momentum is building, right? So I made the decision to go all in. And something else that I've noticed is I make my best decisions when I make quick ones. If I sit there and overthink it, I tend to, one, of course, take too long, and two, I don't make as sharp of decisions as I do when I just use my instinct. So another opportunity came up while all this was going on, and all my ducks were in a row, like everything was lining up. My dad has this property in Vieques, Puerto Rico. He offers for me to go live down there because I was renting at the time in Key Largo, and my contract was almost up with them. So it kind of made sense, but at first it was one of those things that I actually did overthink. I'm like, no, I'm not interested in going there. It's an island. I don't know anyone. I don't know about that lifestyle. That's not for me. So I said no at first, and after I realized that that was supposed to happen, like that opportunity came for a reason. With everything else that's going on, and I after thinking about it, it actually made sense. Like, why would I not do that? Because it took a lot of financial stress off of me. Like, a lot of the bills that I had, that would take it away from me, because all I had to do was look after the house for him, clean it up, take care of it. And once we got everything worked out down here, I could focus on building my business and moving the needle in my life and taking the next step to build and go where I need to go. So it all made sense. It lined up perfectly. And when I look back on this, after some things that I've studied from Tony Robbins, who's the best coach in the world, there was a quote, and he said that we need to realize that life is happening for us, not to us. So we need to stop blaming life and blaming others and blaming whatever it may be for things that are happening to us. Everything is happening for a reason. It has a purpose. And I've used this to framework my thinking. So I gathered up the courage, packed it all up, moved to an island. I didn't know anything about the island, didn't know anything about living on the island, didn't know how difficult it could be living on the island, and that we have limited resources. Didn't even really think about that stuff too much. I just made one of those instinct decisions and went for it. And I didn't know what was really in store for me, but As one of my favorite artist groups, Above and Beyond, would say, life is made up of little moments like these. And making that decision opened up the pathway for the direction that I'm currently heading. So this video and me telling my story, it's not supposed to be all about me. I actually want you to be able to take something from it. And one of those things is that everything that happens to us has a purpose. Like I said earlier, we want to frame our mindset to think that life is happening for us, not to us. And I think if we all can think in that type of mindset, we'll all be that much happier. And if you're in a bad place, reach out to people. Swallow your pride and get some help. Build that support structure around you, because we cannot do it alone. I promise you that. It makes it that much harder. Imagine going through life and not having any types of relationships with anyone. It just wouldn't work. You wouldn't make it. You wouldn't be able to do it. It's very, very important that if you're going through something, make sure you're reaching out to the right people. Don't just keep it inside, because it makes it that much worse. And thirdly, my slogan, the only way to live life is doing what you love. If you're in a situation where you're going to work and you're unhappy and you dread your job and you're not happy in your life and you don't feel fulfilled, you feel like it might not have a purpose, you can change all of that. You don't have to go through the day-to-day doing something that you hate and living a life that you aren't happy to live or feel fulfilled living. You can change the circumstance. All you have to do is believe in yourself and take massive action and go out there and do it. And fourth, we all make mistakes. Trust me, I know, I've made my share. But what speaks on your character is how you rebound from a situation and how you handle something. And do you let it get you down and you just can't get back up? Do you just beat yourself up over it? Making mistakes is somewhat like weightlifting. So think about getting yourself into a situation that you're beating yourself down because you made a mistake. When you go to the gym, you're breaking down your muscles, right? If you compare that to how you break yourself down, maybe after something that you've screwed up, you always come out of the gym stronger than when you went in. So think about a situation that you've gone through and how much stronger you were coming out of that situation, and what you've been through in your life and where you are now compared to where you've been. And fifth, take risks. Live life abundantly. Do something that gets you outside of that little box you're in. Go outside of your comfort zone and scare yourself, because the reward of doing something like that could be more than you'll ever know. It could be life-changing. So go do something that scares you. Any comments or anything to add, let me know, because I love interacting with you guys. Hopefully I can help make a positive impact on your lives, because that's my goal and that's what I'm here for. So everybody take care, and until next time, always remember, the only way to live life is doing what you love. Take care.